Connor. It means a lot to me that when you first came to GAW, you didn't want to challenge anyone. You didn't want to take a challenge from anyone. And now, you stand up to the Switchblade and to the Blade Runners. I'm on it. But you should know this, Connor. You will not survive this night. Not at Nitro. Breathe with the Switchblade. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this, the final GAW Wednesday Night Storm before Nitro 10. We begin, as we always do, before a pay-per-view with the GAW Academy Showcase, and yet never has it felt like there is more on the line, like we are witnessing more history than we are here today. We will talk about the two men involved in this showcase and of course everything surrounding the GAW Academy as this match goes on. Making his way to the ring is Frankie Omega, and we'll show you just a few of his accomplishments. This guy has been everywhere and he's won just about everything, and he proved himself to be an exceptionally dangerous wrestler in his GAW debut when he teamed with his opponent tonight to take down Lighter, the greatest wrestler, the greatest tag team wrestler in the history of the GAW Academy. The red smoke filling the arena can only mean one thing. Lars Nightfall is here. And you see that big skull on his chest. That's pretty much what he does to his opponents. And we saw, again, more evidence of that when he made his GAW debut on the last episode of GAW Academy Storm Chaser. On that note, by the way, if you are a fan of Storm Chaser, if you've been watching, and I hope all of you have been, well, then a little bit of a programming note here. Nitro 10 will begin next Monday. That is Monday, December 28th, after the holidays are over. And then the knockout tournament for GAW Academy Storm Chaser begins Wednesday, December 30th. 10-minute time limit in this showcase, and immediately Lars Nightfall coming out with a big-time power move. It's looking like Nightfall drops him with a big sit-out power bomb. If you haven't been keeping up with Storm Chaser, well, first of all, what are you doing? You gotta watch, because pretty much everything that's happening here in GAW is happening in the GAW Academy, and it has gone from just the place of the up-and-comers to really one of the most compelling competitions that I have ever seen. The charge to do that, to really raise the stature of the GAW Academy, is spearheaded by Eddie Hernandez. That's a name that, whether you watch Storm Chaser or not, you should be familiar with. Hernandez became the first person ever to win 2 GAW Academy showcases. And now Nightfall lays a big boot to the chest of Frankie Omega. Hernandez has really led the charge and he has changed the paradigm, so to speak. He has changed the way that people watch the GAW Academy. And look at Lars Nightfall, 2 backdrop suplexes into a high-angle German. You can expect that even for a man as big as Nightfall, he will be comfortable with a high pace in the match, and that's exactly where Frankie Omega likes to be as well. Lars Nightfall will finish his matches with a devastating choke bomb. Meanwhile, Frankie Omega, you can see him targeting the arm of Nightfall. That is no accident. Frankie Omega comes in with his version of the Fujiwara armbar called the Arm Collector. We saw him use it to beat Lighter in his tag match last episode of Storm Chaser, and I'd expect to see more of it. Goes over Nightfall in a big back elbow. And Omega once again targeting the arms of Nightfall. This time hammerlock, grounded hammerlock, and wrenches the arm back. Omega testing out with a little pin here, middle of the ring. Nightfall, I'm sorry, able to kick out. Nightfall back in big, heavy right-handed strike, and now Nightfall setting up for a tombstone pile driver. Wow, with a man that size, it's just easy to do something like that. Going for the cover, Omega able to kick out. These two guys do have a history facing each other. They have teamed together in the past in different promotions, and so they know each other fairly well. And you can see first Nightmare choke bomb attempt by Lars Nightfall, countered by Omega. Now top wrist lock. Nightfall, though, a couple big strikes to the abdomen of Omega. And now, oh, big upper hand right. Nightfall is a very prolific striker. He has an MMA background. Did some jiu-jitsu as well. He is a tremendous striker. And Omega, unfortunately, finding that out the hard way. Front chancery here from Nightfall. Now arm locked. Nightfall wrenching him up by his arm and drops him down. And I think that's payback for Omega targeting the arms so much of Lars Nightfall. Nightfall was brought in specially by Eddie Hernandez. He was brought in at Hernandez's request to, and I quote, protect the homestead. That came after Hernandez's brutal war with Yunsan Park. Omega now from the top going for the elbow drop, nobody home. And now Nightfall, Omega to his knee, and Nightfall! I thought he was going for the knee. Instead, he went for a grounded flatliner. Little bit of pace here from the big man, and now Nightfall. Nightmare! Sit out, choke bomb from Lars Nightfall. Rolls him over, shoots the half with 5 minutes to go, and Lars Nightfall picks up the win. What a performance from the two rookies, and for both men, this is their first singles match in GAW. It's the first time that anyone has fought their first match in a GAW Academy showcase, and now we've got two guys doing it. And what a match it was. This is the future of GAW, folks. I hope you pay special attention. Coming up at Nitro 10, we will have 4 more stellar rookies competing at the biggest event of the year. That will be on the first night of Nitro, the first episode of our multi-part Nitro broadcast. So that is coming Monday, December 28th. If you care at all about Storm Chaser, you're going to want to tune in to Nitro on that day. The main event of Nitro 10 will be Kenny Omega, the world champion, taking on the GAW Classic champion, Aleister Black. Last episode, we showed you how Aleister Black's mentality has changed during his tumultuous year. Now let's take a look back at Kenny Omega's storied career before the two meet face-to-face in the ring. Kenny Omega began his wrestling career at 17 years old. He became a champion months later. This became the predominant theme of one of the greatest careers in wrestling history. Some wrestlers become synonymous with a company. Some become synonymous with a championship. But none could ever become synonymous with the very concept of being champion. Wherever Kenny Omega is, if he strides to the ring, you can bet he's doing it as a champion. The Best Bout Machine has won 43 titles across 14 different promotions. In general admission wrestling alone, he is an 8-time champion, the first and only winner of the Golden Ring, and the winner of the match many consider to be the greatest in the history of the company. Kenny Omega has main evented Nitro. He's main evented Wrestle Kingdom. He's held multiple championships simultaneously in the same company and in different companies. Kenny Omega, a true world champion, a true main eventer, the true best bout machine, and a truly once-in-a-lifetime talent. Kenny Omega has been a force in this business basically since he got in. One of the greatest athletes, one of the greatest wrestlers to ever do it, and now I have the privilege of facing him in the biggest show of the year. I want to face the man that I will be facing down in the main event right now. Thank you for inviting me out here. First off, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Everyone around here is very nervous considering your history, considering what you did with Alpha and how big of a part you played in bringing him here and how much he hurt all of us. Listen, I do understand. I really do. I've apologized over and over and over again, and I understand that apologizing that much, that talking so much about it draws extra suspicion. But this is why I wanted to talk to you before we face off. I want you to know that I regret everything I did. I want you to know that everything I did, listen, Aleister, I respect you more than I can put into words as a competitor. I really do. But I know what Alpha does. I know what Alpha's about. I was on the wrong side. He put me in the hospital by doing what he did. I need to know right now that your head is in the right place. Kenny, every bit of your anger right now is absolutely justified. Absolutely. You know, and everyone else should know that I have grinded. I have spent countless hours. I have given up so much of my life to get to this point. And I almost traded it all away once. I would not do that again. I will never do that again. I believe the two of us can come to an understanding. I believe that with your permission and with everyone else's blessing, we can move past the role I played. I've admitted to it, I've owned up to it. And I want to have the greatest main event. I want to have the greatest match in history. I want to see you at Nitro. Team Kick makes their entrance. Both of these women will have matches at Nitro. Tegan Knox, it was announced that she would be defending her U.S. title against Rosita, who recently re-debuted with Hernandez in her corner. So she has proven to have maybe some of the most momentum of any woman in the division. Meanwhile, Dakota Kai was announced to be part of the first ever 2-match turmoil at Nitro. And last episode of Wednesday Night Storm, she won the advantage in that match over Caitlin Dunlap. So Dakota Kai will face Asuka second, or possibly face Caitlin Dunlap second if Dunlap is to beat Asuka in the first match. That gives her a significant advantage. And now Knox and Kai will be teaming up against the two women that they will face at the biggest show of the year. Rosita had a rough go of things, basically, I mean, really for the last year and a half here in GAW. She just hadn't been able to build up the momentum that she needed. But it was when she met Hernandez while she was receiving treatment for an ankle injury. She met Hernandez. Obviously, she had known Hernandez from their shared time in TNA Impact. And they connected, and Hernandez offered to give Rosita a little bit of extra training, a little bit of specialty training. And then evidently Rosita was so impressed, or Hernandez was so impressed by Rosita that he agreed to continue in a management position, sort of a coach type role with Rosita, and clearly that has paid dividends because Rosita will be fighting for the U.S. Championship at Nitro 10. What more is there to say about Asuka that has not already been said? She has eclipsed the 18-month mark in her reign as GAW Women's World Champion. And this match, as she's coming up against Dakota Kai, could be the most emotionally charged that she has had in her reign as champ. Don't believe me, don't take my word for it. These are Asuka's words. She gave an interview to a newspaper in Japan. We have it translated, and I will read an excerpt for you now. Quote, this is Asuka speaking. When I was training, my sensei told me, respect your opponent. He told me anyone who is willing to fight you deserves as much respect as you give yourself. And for my entire career, I believed that. I lived by that. But now I'm starting to realize even the wisest advice has a limit. What Team Kick does, it's not worthy of respect by me or anyone else. Betrayal of friends, betrayal of fellow competitors, lies, deceit, cowardice, these are the most dishonorable actions one can take, and they've taken them all. I've been blessed to fight friends and comrades in the ring, but at Nitro, I'm going to war with an enemy. Those are the words of Asuka. And Dakota Kai immediately chiropractor onto Rosita. Unbelievable, and Hernandez senses the danger immediately. Hernandez up on the corner. This is going to be a very uneasy partnership for the duration of the match, however long the match might be between Rosita and Asuka. Meanwhile, Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox obviously have been, they've been teammates for a long time. Not a lot of tag action in terms of in the ring, but they've been training together, so they have a big advantage in a tag scenario. This kind of match is all about momentum. It's not so much, it's not even about wins for a win-loss record. It's about momentum, and now Nox tags in. Double judo throw and a couple kicks. Well, they do call him Team Kick. Rosita will have to battle now against the woman she'll face at Nitro 10, and Rosita spikes her with a Hurricane Rana. Rosita takes advantage, gets the big move in, and Kai was busy distracting the referee. Rosita able to go for a cover, and Dakota Kai just knocks the referee out. She didn't even need to do it. Tegan Nox tagged out of the match, and now Rosita's gonna take advantage. Well, maybe she got a sledgehammer out, and I think at the behest of Asuka, she ends up dropping it and now tags in the Women's World Champion. Asuka, since she won the belt, is undefeated in multi-man matches. It is an unbelievable statistic. But that could come to an end here thanks to Team Kick. Tegan Nox distracted by Hernandez, and Asuka catches her with a German suplex. This is the first of 2 tag matches that we will see. Coming up next, we will see a preview of the 8-man tag coming up at Nitro when the Blade Runners take on the Mob. Nox going for a choke slam, and Asuka able to reverse it, boot to the gut, now into a Kimura. Dakota Kai willing on Tegan Nox to try to break out of this submission, and she does. Strike to the gut, Nox going for the corner splash, nobody home. Asuka, big drop kick. Dakota Kai wants no part of this match right now with Asuka still in. Backdrop, Tegan Nox backflips out of it, Irish whipped into the corner. Nox now does tag in Kai. Kai with the advantage, out of the corner. Oh! Teed up on the Women's World Champ, and Kai going for the cover. Referee didn't even make the count, and Rosita was right there, but she turns right into a flatliner by Tegan Nox. Team Kick are all over Asuka and Rosita. And now it's a 2-on-1 scenario, but Asuka still has Hernandez in the corner. Hernandez was here to help out Rosita. We'll see how much he does against Asuka. Oh, he laid his hands on Dakota Kai. Referee staring daggers into the former member of LAX, and now Asuka wrenches her back into an armbar. Asuka with a cross arm breaker. She used it to beat Charlotte in a submission match, and now Dakota Kai has to do everything she can to try to work her way out of this submission. She does. She is able to power out, but Asuka immediately fires her into a backslide driver. Hernandez loving it, and this is the first real offense we've seen from Asuka and Rosita. And of course, it's the Women's World Champ, who now will watch Dakota Kai desperately try to make a tag to Tegan Nox. Nox gets in, and Asuka, boot to the gut, catches her with an Empress hip attack. This is the confidence of the Women's World Champion. She watched Dakota Kai crawl to make a tag, and now ducks the lariat. Asuka, Falcon Arrow. Wow. This is Asuka firing on all cylinders, folks. Now drags Nox into the middle of the ring. Asuka for the cover. Nox kicks out. This is your Women's World Champion fighting as well as she ever has. Asuka with a big upward kick to Tegan Nox. And Asuka now again, I think, setting up the hip attack. She eats a lariat from Tegan Nox. Nox pulls Asuka to her feet, and now Nox tosses her over the top rope. Dakota Kai has made her way back. There's a steel chair on the outside. I think that was probably Hernandez who put that out there. And Rosita, Rosita! Modified reverse DDT onto the chair. Rosita getting involved with her Nitro opponent, and Asuka trying for the back suplex. Dakota Kai or Tegan Nox able to flip out of it, but not that time. Wow, you can just see the hatred, the animosity between all four of these women, and Tegan Nox with a beautiful drop kick. Asuka and Nox have been battling for a long time here, and now Nox is dangerously on top of that steel chair that she landed on top of earlier. Asuka throws Tegan Nox back into the ring. Asuka doing the right thing here, trying to win by pinfall or submission. But Tegan Nox, shiniest wizard! Tegan Nox has already pinned Asuka once. Rosita in, Dakota Kai intercepts her, but Asuka kicks out. Rosita was not gonna be there to break up the pin. And now Nox, all four women are in the ring. Top wrist lock, Nox going for another shiniest wizard. Asuka turns it around into a heel kick. Rosita and Kai still in the ring. Kai, Irish whips her in. And now Asuka laying in a few kicks to Tegan Nox. Referee's got to get control of this match somehow. Hurricane Rana from Rosita. Dakota Kai forced to roll out. And now Asuka lines up an Empress hip attack to Tegan Nox. Beautifully done from the Women's World Champion. Now going for the cover, and Asuka picks up the win. What an incredible tag match. Wow. Wow. If you don't want to watch these four women duke it out at Nitro, Kai taking on Asuka or possibly Dunlap, depending on how that match goes in two-match turmoil, and of course Tegan Nox taking on Rosita. If you don't want to see that, well, I don't know what to tell you. Wow. Wow, what a performance. What a show-stealing performance from these four. Tremendously done, and Asuka and Rosita have their momentum heading into Nitro. We mentioned there's another tag match coming up next, but first off, we want to announce the participants in the Goldberg Beat the Clock Challenge. Here are the rules. Participants will face off in a match. Shortest time to win wins the challenge. So let's just get to the competitors and we'll list them off. Adam Cole, Shane Thorne, Bandito, Tyler Bate, Sin Cara, Kofi Kingston, Hunter, and finally, Walter, back to defend his title. Walter has the record for the shortest win in the history of the Goldberg Beat the Clock Challenge. So he will be back to defend that crown. That record, by the way, stands at 1 minute, 7 seconds. Who can beat that record, if anyone? We'll find out at Nitro 10 in the 9th Goldberg Beat the Clock Challenge. Coming up next, it's a preview of one of the most anticipated matches at Nitro 10, The Mob versus the Blade Runners. Matt, I'm no dummy. I know what happened in our match. I know that you have a right to tell me that we need a rematch. I know that you could have grabbed that bottom rope. It should have been a rope break. That match should have continued. I know all of that. But I'm asking you right now, let's have that rematch, but let's do it as friends. It pained me to see you out there as an enemy, and even worse, it pained me when I had to tell you that I would hunt you down, that I would do what I did to you. And all I want, I don't even need our old friendship back, but I want our old respect. Ah! Clearly, the animosity between Matt Riddle, and Keith Lee is not going anywhere. And so, folks, at Nitro 10, we are going to announce Matt Riddle versus Keith Lee, last man standing. What a match that is going to be. Drew McIntyre and Buddy Murphy entering separately. That's very interesting. Not coming out as a team here, even though they've been serving together as part of the Blade Runners for now going on almost a year. That could end at Nitro 10 when the Blade Runners take on the Mob. The loser has to disband, and right now it certainly seems like the Mob has a little bit of a disadvantage considering that the Blade Runners have 4 members. The Mob right now only have 3. Here comes the Intercontinental Champion, as well as the most dangerous submission wrestler in the world, Bobby Lashley and Zack Sabre Jr. Coming out together, a little bit of a show of unity from 2 guys that have not been a part of the same group for nearly as long as McIntyre and Murphy. But don't let that fool you. Lashley and Sabre have great coaching. These are 2 of the most dangerous men in the company, and they are laser focused on making a statement here in the last show before Nitro. Well, the Nitro card just keeps getting bigger and bigger, but none of it is bloat. All of it is some of the most hellacious, brutal, incredible matches that you will see. Of course, we just announced Riddle versus Lee, last man standing. And now McIntyre trying to make sure Bobby Lashley is the first man lying right now. Going for the Claymore, Lashley out of the way. We'll see how good chemistry these 2 teams have. The Blade Runners actually have a little bit of a tag team record. This isn't the first time that they have teamed together, actually. As a team, the Blade Runners are 2-1. This is the first time that anyone from the Mob has had any tag action. And by the way, we talk about the Mob having 3 people, even though it's been announced as an 8-man tag match, but can we just say that one of those people is Conor McGregor? He will be making his professional wrestling debut here in GAW. How have I not talked about that more? I mean, that is, look at this, McIntyre jawing with Sabre. Murphy tried to get the best of Lashley, but now McIntyre tossing Lashley around. McIntyre is a former Intercontinental Champion, just like Bobby Lashley. Actually, the two fought over that belt for, they fought on and off for many, many months. McIntyre actually won the belt off of Lashley at one time. McIntyre is just a world championship away from being one of the few competitors in the history of GAW to be a Triple Crown winner. Lashley coming off the ropes and a double back body drop. Look at the height of Bobby Lashley, who now tags, dives to make the tag into Zack Sabre Jr., and now it's the two smaller men in the ring, and Murphy clotheslines him over the top. I don't know if this match can match the last tag fight that we just saw between Asuka and Rosita and Team Kick for emotion and pure hatred between all 4 competitors, but certainly these 4 men are no best friends here in the ring. Zack Sabre Jr. always has that wild card of all of the submissions that he can pull out at any time. Meanwhile, Buddy Murphy, pound for pound, one of the strongest wrestlers in GAW. Zack Sabre with a brain buster on the outside. I just hope all 4 of these men can actually make it to Nitro. Murphy and McIntyre will meet up with Jay White and The Blade in that 8-man tag. The Mob right now stands at just Conor McGregor, Bobby Lashley, and Zack Sabre Jr. So we don't know who that 8th man, who that 4th man on their team will be. Maybe we'll get some insight at some point tonight. I would like that. Either way, Buddy Murphy with a Yokosuka cutter. That's a lot of strength to hoist up the 265-pound Bobby Lashley, and now Buddy Murphy going for the cover. Lashley kicks out at 2. Sabre makes his way back up to the apron. Lashley clotheslines Murphy over the top. A vicious clothesline from the Almighty. Bobby Lashley, one of those guys that, given his history, given his track record, his MMA success, his success in TNA Impact, he's one of those guys that you just think, how has, oh my God, Buddy Murphy powerbomb rolls him into a Boston Crab on the outside. Lashley tapping out, but the submission doesn't count out there. So Buddy Murphy pretty much picked up what would have been a win if it had happened in the ring, but it didn't. So you got to question the strategy from Buddy Murphy here. Murphy now with some big clotheslines, knocks Lashley down to his feet, and a big thrust kick. And you got to question, look at Murphy, ducks underneath the lariat, Soul Button and Enziguri. And now Murphy comes all the way off the ropes with a knee drop. Buddy Murphy has taken control of things here. It shouldn't go without mentioning, by the way, that Bobby Lashley will be pulling double duty at Nitro. He has to fight Will Ospreay for the Intercontinental Championship at the biggest show of the year, and then fight in the 8-man tag. But now out of the corner, Bobby Lashley has him in his sights going for a spear. Buddy Murphy able to hurdle it. The athleticism of Murphy, and now Lashley was trying to get a taunt in, and Murphy just levels him with the forearm. Anyway, I was saying earlier that with Lashley's track record, he's one of those guys that you think, how has this guy not won a world championship? I've been wondering that myself. And yet, Lashley's only title here in GAW has been the Intercontinental Championship. Now, he's won it 3 times, so he's a very successful Intercontinental Champion. I correct myself, he's won it 4 times. So he's a very successful Intercontinental Champion. Murphy with a big bicycle knee strike finds its mark on the jaw of Lashley. These two have been battling for a long time. Now Murphy is one of the few active wrestlers in GAW that still has a chance to win the GAW Golden Ring. The Golden Ring is of course bestowed to any competitor who can win the Cruiserweight, Tag Team, Intercontinental, and World Championships. Right now, the only man to have that honor is Kenny Omega, the current and 4-time World Champion. But after Will Ospreay unified the Cruiserweight with Intercontinental Championships, the only men who can win that Golden Ring are men who have already won Cruiserweight Gold. You can see Zack Sabre trying to get the tag to Lashley. Lashley ignores him, instead going for the spear. He cuts Murphy in half with that one. Referee going for the cover, and McIntyre just knocks the referee cold. You can see McIntyre with a Claymore on Zack Sabre Jr. You can see Zack Sabre wasn't out playing defense for his partner Bobby Lashley. He came in late, and then he ate a Claymore for his troubles. Referee face down in the ring after McIntyre double sledged him in the back of the head. Lashley choking Murphy against the middle ropes, and Zack Sabre finally able to make his way out of the ring after that Claymore. But Buddy Murphy now, Murphy's Law! And it's right near his own corner. Murphy drags Lashley away from the ropes to be sure, and now Murphy going for the cover. No sign of Zack Sabre Jr. Buddy Murphy and the Blade Runners win. Zack Sabre Jr., I think, wasn't even sure if he was on this planet after taking that Claymore from Drew McIntyre. Talk about being out on your feet. And Zack Sabre Jr. had no earthly idea what was going on, and he totally missed Buddy Murphy pinning Bobby Lashley with the Murphy's Law. This one's all about momentum, as was our last tag match, but for Buddy Murphy, it could mean something more. For Buddy Murphy, he has just pinned the Intercontinental Champion. And of course, look at this, Claymore onto Zack Sabre Jr. Of course, in GAW, pinning the champ, you get yourself a title shot. Well, it's not going to happen at Nitro, obviously, but should Lashley retain, Murphy certainly is in that conversation. Or even if Ospreay wins, you got to think that Buddy Murphy has himself an argument for the Intercontinental Championship. Coming up next, Aleister Black puts his Nitro main event spot on the line against the man who took his world championship from him. Pac and Aleister Black have a complicated history. Pac won the first ever GAW Challenger briefcase after he was inserted in that match last minute by Alpha. He won it, and then he cashed in on Black after Black turned his back on Alpha. Black was the world champion at that time. Pac took it off of him, and then Pac enjoyed himself a reign with the world championship, which included a win, albeit by dirty means, over Kazuchika Okada. But then he ran into the buzzsaw of Kenny Omega when Hangman Page was due to face Pac, and Page ended up leaving Alpha, which facilitated the collapse of that group after Kenny Omega beat Pac at Tidal Wave. All of that is to say, Pac has an opportunity to take Aleister Black's main event spot at Nitro right now. GAW Classic champions are 2-2 all time in their Nitro main event spots against the world champions. But what Aleister Black should be confident in is that the last two, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, both won in the main event of Nitro and won the world championship. Samoa Joe actually defeated AJ Styles at Nitro 9. This is the first of the two matches that will see both members of the main event put their spots on the line. That's the fourth year of this tradition that dates back to 2017. CM Punk was the Classic champion. Kenny Omega was also the world champion at the time. Both of them won. AJ Styles was the GAW Classic champion. Rey Mysterio was the world champion going into Nitro 8. Both of them won. And then Samoa Joe was the GAW Classic champion. AJ Styles was the world champion. Both of them retained their spots at Nitro. Can Aleister Black and Kenny Omega continue the trend? This is the first of two to find out. I would expect to see high pace, hard-hitting action between these two. Aleister Black, I mean, Pac is the reason that the Dutch Destroyer, or a big reason why the Dutch Destroyer is not a world champion right now. I mean, it's hard to say how things would have gone at Tidal Wave, but Pac cashing in his contract on Aleister Black after Black had already had a hellacious match with Keith Lee, and now Black with a big knee strike out of the corner. No love lost between these two men. Aleister Black obviously remembers very, very well losing his world championship after he had regained his honor by leaving Alpha. And now Black from the top looking for a Meteora, and Pac sends him crashing to the ground. Pac with the strength and athleticism. Aleister Black is the most dangerous striker in the world right now. And now Pac with two big lariats. Ducks one, thrust kick. Pac is as dangerous as they come, but you can bet that Aleister Black is not downplaying his competition right now. Of that you can be sure. Black knows what's at stake. And now Black with an exploder suplex into the corner. You can see Pac's legs clip the bottom turnbuckle, and now Aleister Black smelling blood in the water. Black mask, but Pac ducked it, and now Pac with a basement drop kick straight to the knee. Pac, springboard crossbody, nobody home. Black's gotten to his feet, and now a combination from the best striker in the world. Knee countered with a punch by Pac into the gut, and now Pac sends Black to the top rope. Pac is going to try to inflict, I believe, a whole lot of damage here on Aleister Black, and he may just succeed from the top superplex. I need to know who's been training these wrestlers to do that move, because apparently we've got some trainer in GAW that absolutely loves that and is training all of his prospects to do it. It's certainly effective, can't argue with that. 10-second time limit, or 10-second count out, I should say, in this what is essentially a championship match. Pac tosses Aleister Black back in. You can bet there will be nothing screwy going on in this match, given the stakes. And I think you can be sure of that in our main event as well, when Kenny Omega goes up against the former Intercontinental Champion Matt Hardy. Pac now could have Aleister Black in trouble. He's already hit a superplex to the outside, now maybe looking for one to the inside, but Black averted disaster, and now from the top with a diving double foot stomp. Wow. Aleister Black saw it coming, and now Black out of the corner lines it up. A running knee strike. And now Black going for the cover, and Aleister Black is going to Nitro. And Aleister Black, maybe a little reference to Kenny Omega. Omega used the V-trigger knee to beat the Bastard for the World Championship, and now Aleister Black pulls out his own rising knee strike to retain his Nitro spot. Well, we know half of the main event, and coming up, we will get the other half confirmed. But first, I'm being told Conor McGregor is backstage talking about his match, the first ever in McGregor's professional wrestling career at Nitro 10. Let's be honest, what we saw out there, the mob, that was not our finest moment. But look, this sport, wrestling, MMA, whatever it is, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Everyone knows that. It's one of the most tired cliches, but in this particular instance, it's absolutely true. And to that end, I must tell you, I'm not as stupid a man as you think I am. No, I can do basic math. And the math that I can do tells me that the mob has 3 and the Blade Runners have 4 at Nitro. Well, that might tell you that. We have an X Factor. We have one more man. And a man who's going to help us clean up the issues that we just saw out there earlier. Who is that man, you might ask? Watch Nitro, you pussies. Well, Conor McGregor, as he tends to be, was fantastically unhelpful in helping us figure out who the 4th man of the mob will be. But I suppose it's a big advantage. Conor McGregor will know better than anyone how much film study can affect the course of a match. And so he knows that if he can keep his 4th member under wraps, that'll give the mob a big advantage. And apparently they need it after the Blade Runners picked up a win earlier. Matt Hardy has fought at Nitro before, but he's never fought as a singles competitor. He's only fought as part of a tag team with his brother Jeff. Well, they have gone their separate ways after Matt Hardy joined Alpha. Now that Alpha is gone, Matt Hardy can take his last-ditch effort to try to fight at Nitro 10. Kenny Omega is one of the most beloved, one of the most respected wrestlers of all time. And here in GAW, the story is no different. You heard me mention earlier, he is the only man recognized as a winner of the GAW Golden Ring. He has won every belt there is to win here in GAW. He is a 4-time world champion. That is tied for a record. And you could go on and on about Kenny Omega's accomplishments. But he hopes to break the trend here of the last 2 world champions losing in the main event of Nitro. But first he's got to get there, and Matt Hardy is no slouch in the ring. Our main event will confirm the main event of the biggest show of the year, Omega versus Hardy. It has been a long and twisting road for Matt Hardy in the 12 months after Nitro 9. His story over the last year begins on the first Wednesday night storm after Nitro, when the tag team title tournament began. Matt reunited with his brother Jeff to reform the Hardy Boys. Omega gut wrench bomb and a cover. Matt Hardy kicks out at 2. The Hardy Boys were upset in the first round of that tournament, and now Omega Snapdragon. One of the many electrifying moves that Kenny Omega pulls out. Omega deadlift power bomb. High stack monkey grip around the legs as well for Omega. Hardy kicks out. So the Hardy Boys were upset in the first round of the tag team title tournament, and Matt Hardy spiraled after that. Joined up with Alpha, won the Rumble on the beach, beat Kofi Kingston for the Intercontinental Championship, and the rest is history. And this match could be history for Matt Hardy, the move no one has ever kicked out of. The one-winged angel, and Kenny Omega is headed to Nitro. It is academic when Kenny Omega hits the one-winged angel, and Matt Hardy just didn't have it here against Kenny Omega. But you know what? To be brutally honest, very, very few people do. It was a greatest hits for Kenny Omega. The deadlift power bomb, the Snapdragon, and of course, the one-winged angel. And ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute privilege to confirm for you the main event of Nitro 10 here on GA Wrestling. Kenny Omega versus Aleister Black in the biggest show of the year. Folks, that is, I mean, you want to talk about the matches, 2-match turmoil, GOD versus the Usos. We've got, of course, the top rookies from the GAW Academy, Keith Lee versus Matt Riddle, the Goldberg Beat the Clock Challenge. Folks, Nitro 10 is absolutely going to be the biggest show of the year. I don't say that as a marketing ploy. I say it because I absolutely mean it. You need to subscribe. You need to watch Nitro beginning Monday, December 28th. But until then, folks, have a Merry Christmas. Have a very, very happy holiday from all of us here at GA Wrestling. Thank you so much for being with us for this whole road, and I hope to see you at Nitro. Subscribe. We appreciate you.